I think
Give
the big
everybody out
challenge to the no complain challenge is going to be to get through this week's Tuesday and Wednesday without complaining.
Yeah, maybe even a little bit longer.
Well, you know what? Sorry, Toni Anne, go ahead.
No, I just was saying that maybe I'm expecting to have to work on that beyond Wednesday.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Either way, I just, yeah.
In yesterday's Times, it had all the op editors write down their predictions for November 4th, and not one of them was optimistic.
Well, then that makes times like this one, like right now, in this space, all the more special and important, because we know when we leave and turn away from one another, there's a whole different set of things happening. I'm a little conscious of the time, so I want to read a quick note from Rabbi, if it's okay with you all, while folks are still trickling in. So Rabbi wants me to read aloud these statements of thanks. And of course he would do this. This is awkward. He says, that's not what he said. I'm starting over. Rewind, start over. Rabbi wants me to read aloud these statements of thanks. I thank you, Toni, for giving me a week off of running the service once a month. This is the last Saturday of the month, and it's yours. Have fun. Folk are always blessed by your presence. I thank you, Joe, for keeping the chat room a safe space. I thank you, Alex, for helping to spotlight videos and all the other little technical things you do to make the running of the service seem smooth. I thank you who have shown up today. At high school, it was out for a day. I always got good notes back from the substitutes that my classes were respectful. I explained to them that one reflection of how much a group like their teacher is evidenced by how they behave when the teacher isn't there. In the same way, I thank all of you for being nice to my dearest substitute, Toni Reynolds. Signed, Rabbi. So Rabbi thanks all of us. We thank you, Rabbi, for designing this space. You know that we're also recording, in case you didn't know that. So he'll see and know. Can we say thank you, Rabbi? Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Enjoy your week off. So I want to just be real honest. Well, I mean, I always want to be honest, but especially when it comes to things like this. So I spent the last couple weeks thinking about what we would share, what we would do here, and I found that it was very difficult to think of like what was important. And then a friend sent me this podcast. And I have a list of things that I'm referencing, so you all can follow them and find them when we're done if you'd like. But a friend sent me this podcast. It's called Finding Our Way, and the host is named Prentis Hemphill. And it was an interview with this Black queer feminist author named Alexis Pauline Gumbs. And she was talking in it about a lot of really beautiful and wonderful things that were it was so rich. But one of the things that she had said in the interview was that her and her partner have been studying science together. And her partner was just kind of nerding out with her about how a cell in our body and in plants and anything that's alive, cells can't defend themselves and grow at the same time. They can only do one or the other. And so she was trying to draw a parallel with that fact and think about what that means for us as humans. If we're in defense mode, what does it mean about our ability to grow? And I realized that the last couple weeks, I'm in this new job, I'm in a new place, we're all in a new place with what's happening, that I've just been feeling very defensive without even really knowing it. And so this week I entered into things knowing that I was on the defense. I was trying to protect myself from certain dynamics at work and just trying to get myself set so that I wasn't swayed by every little thing that happens. And so it just had me thinking about what it means that we're all in a situation where on some level we're feeling a little bit threatened. At least that's my assumption. That's my assumption based on how people are talking about the elections, the ads that are popping up on my YouTube channel. You know, everybody seems to be worried and afraid and interested in defending something that's important to them. And so I wonder what that means is at stake. If this could be a moment of growth instead of a moment of defense, what else becomes possible? And so I'm trying to make it all relevant to the work that we do together here as we nourish each other. And I've been thinking about repetition and how when you have a repeated threat, you create a trauma brain, basically. And so even when you're not safe, your body thinks that, or I'm sorry, even when you are safe, your body thinks you're not safe, which is part of Rabbi's thing, are you safe right now? Trying to make it all relevant to the work that we do together here. Is that what I sound like? Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry.
No,
That's an annoying voice.
That's not how you sound.
no, that's not how you sound. No, your voice is.
You got to hear yourself on an echo, and
Hilarious.
that's not how you sound.
No,
It's just bad feedback.
You all should not be here if that's what I sound like.
don't sound like that.
Okay,
That's fine.
thanks for the affirmation. So anyway, I'm thinking about repetition, thinking about what Rabbi does. I'm thinking about how he has you all practice meditation every Saturday. And so that's sort of the messy jumble of what I would like for us to think about today. And so I wondered too, just to kind of focus on the repetition side, if there are any teachers in the house. I know I don't know anybody. Yeah, Betsy, are you raising your hand?
Well, I'm a piano teacher.
Okay.
Like
yeah,
one-on-one.
talk to us about how you notice the importance of repetition when you're teaching people the piano. Like, how does it matter? How does it not matter? What's it help or hurt or anything?
Oh, repetition is vital. I mean, you've got to, you may know the music in your mind, but you've got to get it into your fingers. And the only way to get it into your fingers is by repeating and repeating. And just the same way, if you want, you may have different parts of your mind. You may know certain goals that you want for yourself, but you need to keep reaffirming those things consciously in order to, so that goes in many ways.
Muscular memory.
Yeah, that's right. Have the somatic behind it. And Alma, I think I saw you raise your hand. Did you have something to share as well?
I was a primary teacher for 50 years, primary school teacher. Yeah.
Oh, you brave soul.
What were some... Go ahead. Sorry, I think I missed you. Sorry.
And I agree totally. No matter how much you teach, you keep on having to go back and remind children and just keep on going. Because I used to have a way of recording, and it was a circle. And when I taught them something, I drew a circle. And and we go over it and over it and over it. Not all at once, but go back to it. And when I thought that they knew it, I'd colour in half the circle. And when I was sure they knew it, I'd colour in the whole circle. And it's a long process, and it has to be an interesting one for the right people. And what I love about Rabbi is that we all join in. We're not just told things.
Mm-hmm.
We participate, and that is so important.
Absolutely. And I was thinking about that before we started today and noticing how I think that's part of why I'm comfortable showing up in the space with you all, because I noticed in seminary that there's an element of, I don't know what words are best describing this group, but like spiritual fitness type spaces can very easily become about entertainment. And so, it's about the cues, it's about the timing, the choir sings and they sing this praise and everybody claps the way that they do for a performer. And so then when it comes time to do real spiritual work, we're waiting for the minister at the front to do the work, and then we just say, oh, good job, and are not really ever asked to do any of the deep digging ourselves. And so I'm glad you said that, because it reminds me that if you'd like to get a pen and paper, there will be a time and some minutes where we can spend some time writing as a part of that kind of interactive practice. So I wanted to share a quote. I'm going to take a deep breath if you want to take one with me. So I was doing the Googles, asking Miss Google, Mr. Google, and was just curious about like kind of pithy ways to think about repetition and learning. And then I found this really deep one, which is important to me because I mentioned before that I love dream work, and all of that is very like subconscious, unconscious mind. And so Google told me that repetition is a key learning aid because it helps transition a skill from the conscious mind to the subconscious mind. And in that way, it starts to become reflex. And so I remember a while ago thinking about with you all acceptance, and I think I said something about being gentle with yourself and holding yourself as you would a baby bird in the palm of your hands, which is a quote I heard from somebody else, by the way. Don't credit me if you haven't dreamed that. But that it's a practice, right? We have to think about being that kind of way, so much so that we just become that way. And so I want to think about the exercise we did last time I was with you all, where we did the I am statements. And initially, that's a practice that's, for me, is a way to help keep us in the mind that we're not alone, that whatever force of life, whatever energy, our community, whoever it is, they don't have to be exactly in the same room with us for us to be connected. And then another lesson in all of that is that the things that we say, the I ams, become who we are. And so to think about who you want to be, how you want to be, what do you want to give off. So if you have your pen and paper, pencil and paper, type, however you'd like to do it, we're going to spend just a couple of minutes thinking about that. I know it doesn't have to be particular to any theme, but the one thing I will say though is that it would be helpful for the brain exercises that we're going to practice a little bit to be as specific as possible. So for example, I know that I want to be healthier. Like I eat a lot of sugar. I watch a lot of things I shouldn't watch. Like we've just been binge watching the Great American Baking Show, and all they do is bake sweets. So like, how can I make myself healthier while I'm watching hours of people bake cakes? Like they don't really go together. And so,
you aren't eating them, are you?
Say that again.
You aren't eating them, are you?
I'm not eating them, but that's a great question, because the other quote that I wanted to share, and I'll where is it? I think it's on this.
Carrot cake doesn't count, just saying.
Say that again?
Carrot cake does not count, Toni Anne.
Carrot cake, right? That's right. We talked about that last time too. The virtual donuts are better because they're virtual.
Yeah.
But if I imagine myself eating the cake, I wonder what the impact is, because Alex, are you able to get the quote from the study up so that folks can see it? The one about brain patterns. I'd like someone to read this, because I think that is like such a perfect paradox before we start our writing. Now I know I want cake too, Marcus.
Marcus.
Chocolate. I want chocolate.
Sorry to do that to you.
That's okay.
Would anybody like to read this? So underneath number 4, thank you, Alex, for throwing that up. There's a quote there. Carol, would you read that for us, please?
A study looking at brain patterns in weightlifters found that the patterns activated when a weightlifter lifted hundreds of pounds were similarly activated when they only imagined lifting In some cases, research has revealed that mental practices are almost as effective as true physical practice. For instance, in his study on everyday people, Guang Yue, an exercise psychologist from Cleveland Clinic Foundation in Ohio, compared results of those who did physical exercises to the results of those who carried out virtual workouts in their heads. In the physical exercise group, finger abduction strength increased by 53%. In the group that did mental contractions, their finger abduction strength increased by 35%. However, the greatest gain, 40%, was not achieved until 4 weeks after the training had ended. This demonstrates the mind's incredible power over the body and its muscles.
Wow.
Cool.
Thank you, Carol. I know, it's amazing. Everybody, I see lots of dropped jaws. I did the same thing, especially because I was an athlete. And hi, Betsy Ann, do you want to say something?
I do. Moshe Feldenkrais has been working this way for decades. I mean, he passed away, but his work is really about doing a physical movement into non-pain. And then if it hurts to go the other way, you just work with a visualization of moving it, and it changes that pain pattern and threat and injury. You know, it's really outstanding. I refer people to that kind of work who are afraid to move because of pain.
Yeah.
It's
Betsy,
outstanding.
could you type his name in the chat so folks can do some searching if they'd like? Thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's beautiful. And so part of where we're going with this, all of this, if you can't tell already, is that it's as important as oh goodness, where's was it Betsy Weston, the piano teacher? As Betsy mentioned, it's important to have the practice in your finger muscles for piano. And also we're seeing from what Betsy Ann shared and also from what science is saying, that it's as important to have your mind behind the actions as it is to just have it in your body. And so I'm curious about what that means for material things.
Oh,
like
Feldenkrais.
your
Feldenkrais.
Feldenkrais.
Oh.
For your presence of compassion, for your not complaining, or whatever it may be, if we visualize ourselves in these moments doing things the way that we want to do them in their optimal way, what kind of people do we turn into? What kind of communities do we start to build? And so the exercise with the writing is going to happen now. Are there other things to share? Sorry, I want to make space for. Okay. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put 5 minutes on a timer, and I'm going to invite you to think about an aspect that you want to realize in your life, in yourself, and I wanna encourage you to think about it as specific to you as possible.
Stay safe.
Because you are not able to control anybody but yourself. And sometimes even controlling ourselves proves to be a little bit difficult. So I want you to think about the thing you want to actualize most, and then write about what it looks like when that thing is here. What do you look like? What's the smell in the room? What are the colors around you? Be as specific as possible, and write a little bit about the trait that's blooming in you, and what it takes for it to be nourished. What are your questions? Okay, I'm going to start the timer. You'll hear the ding, and then we'll meet back up.
Toni Anne, Rob has his hand up.
Please, Rob.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sure, no problem. Okay, so I'll give you an example of how I'm thinking of it with the fit example that I gave. So I'm going to write about what it's like when I'm fit, what I'm eating,
Oh.
what I look like, how much do I weigh when I'm at my fittest, what kinds of groceries do I buy at the store when I'm at my fittest, what kinds of recipes am I searching when I'm at my fittest. So I'm trying to build the room around my fit self so that I can visualize myself inside of that room. Is that any clearer?
Yes, I just have to figure out, because I don't want to be fit. I want to be something else.
Sure.
I don't know what it is.
I see. So then I wonder if we could go back in time a little bit to maybe one of the times that Rabbi was going through some of the, I wonder, yeah. Has there been a moment in the last month or so where you felt like, oh wow, I wish I was better at forgiveness, or I wish I was better at acceptance, or I wish I was better at planning for the future? I don't know, any kind of thing like that.
Okay.
I don't know what you want. I don't know what you need. So I can't help you decide what to become in that way.
I don't want to become anything. I want to live in the moment.
Beautiful. So then maybe write about this moment right now. What is there to appreciate in this moment? So much so
Everything.
that you don't need to go to the past or the future.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it.
Slowly invite yourself back. Take some deep breaths.
Could use another minute or two because I listened to you in the middle of that.
Sure, please. We'll take an extra minute, no worries.
Allergies.
Okay, I wanna ask folks a question because this is my first time trying this, so I don't obviously. And Rob, thank you also for asking that question because I've never tried it out loud. I just try it in my own brain, and things are always different outside than they are in your mind.
Thank you.
No,
that was great.
My pleasure. I wonder, I'm not even super sure what the question is, but I'm curious about, even though we just finished writing it, if you can see and feel some of what you wrote as real. I'm not sure if my question makes sense. Like, is it just an idea, or can you see yourself, for example, for me, going to the store to buy the groceries? Can anybody speak a little bit about what's popping up behind it? Yeah, Rob, can you go, would you mind? I'm curious.
Something's echoing.
There we go.
Oh.
This moment is everything. There is no past. There is no future. There is only now. But it moves at every moment, and I have to follow along and know it'll never cease. I live in the moment. I breathe in the moment. I move in the moment. I think in the moment.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you share with us maybe if there's one physical sense that's most present for you as you were writing that? Like, is there a smell that's popping up? Is it a feeling in your body? Is there some sort of body?
It's more a feeling in my body that I am together. I can feel all of myself, and it was like it was all just flowing into those words. My whole body.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I saw a couple other folks pop up. Rita, would you mind sharing?
Yeah, I heard it differently. I'm not sure. All right. What do I want to work on myself? I think that's what the goal is. I'd like to feel more physically fit. I love the thought that I can work on that on my mind because I do not exercise much, especially with the pandemic and being here at home alone. I visualize myself dancing here in my home, in my office space. I will be playing swing music, Beatles, show tunes, dancing with joy, prancing around the room. And that's where it ended. But
beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else pop up for folks that they'd be happy to share?
Yeah. I'll share.
Go for it.
I wrote, I am listening to Tom, that's my husband, with no judgment. And the scene is I'm sitting or standing somewhere near Tom and he speaks. I turn if necessary so I can see his face. I stop doing and thinking, whatever I was doing and thinking, and focus on his face. Maybe I jot down something before I do all that because I want to get back to it and I don't want to forget it, but probably not. Nothing's that important. I take a deep breath and relax my face and body. That's all the further I got. But I'm so scattered these days. I have no patience for anything, and it all comes out on him. You know, I'm just really scared and really impatient and really angry and anyway, so this is good. I think I might be able to actually do this. Just stop, breathe, and focus on him and his face. I don't look at him when I'm talking to him. I'm just talking to him like, go do this, go do that.
So for you, it's about seeing him as you're speaking to him and allowing that to change what you're saying and how you're saying it. Is that what I'm hearing?
Trying to be fully present to him instead of in my head doing my thing and trying to control him.
Gotcha.
You know, get him out of my, he bothers me. You know, everything bothers me. My own thoughts bother me. So I'm really, you know, at my wit's end with all this stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't expect it to end if just by an election. Yeah. So anyway, I think this is going to be helpful though, because I'm tired of myself being the way I am.
No, well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Were there other folks? I don't want to miss anyone who wanted to share about. Yeah, Shirley, please.
Oh, a few notes.
I didn't get as far as writing out very much, but I was thinking it made me happy to think that as I think more about being more physically active, that changes things. And just thinking about walking my dog, going to the YMCA more frequently, as much as I can, that actually makes those things more likely to happen, to think about it, visualize myself doing that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And on a routine basis.
Yes, ma'am. The repetition, that's right. Thank you, Emily. Shirley, what did you have?
I came in late, but I wrote, I wish I would be more organized. I wish I would spend more time writing. And I wish I would strengthen my muscles more. And I wish to listen better.
Thank you.
That's what I got.
So just a quick thing. I have you all on gallery view, so I can only see half of you at a time. So if you are raising your hand and I'm not seeing you, please hop in and we will take group care into
prayer. Yeah, I got something to say.
Sure, please.
I wrote down several things, but things about changing things in my life. But the bottom line was I want to be less addictive in my behavior, because my behavior is the behavior of an addict in many parts of my life. I'm not talking about substance abuse. I'm just talking about things I do because I've done them that way for so many years, and I can't change them easily. So I want to work on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please just hop. It's hard for me to catch the hands.
Hi, this is Betsy Ann. I just want to say something. Something that I heard you say, Toni, and how I interpreted it and did this exercise. I wrote stuff in the present of I am sharing. I am, as opposed to, which is different than I wish for.
Sure.
Actively envisioning it and bringing it into your actual presentness.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. Is there more to say behind that?
Well, no, I don't really need to say stuff, but sure. I have noticed that, and for me, it feels really different for me wishing for something and just trying to embody it and say I am, and then it gives me an idea of what that first little baby step can be.
That's right. Thank you. That's powerful. That's powerful. And the other, I'm trying to dabble in Rabbi style and also find my own. So I have another quote, and I don't have to set up, so I can't throw them up in that really cool way that he does. But the other one, Betsy, and what you're saying, the other one reminds me of this, and this is accredited to what's his name, Earl Nightingale, who I think was on the first wave of motivational speakers in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and he said, "Whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become a reality." And so I think, Betsy, and what you're saying is, I read in preparing for this too, somebody saying about how Muhammad Ali became the greatest boxer in part because he had a mental practice. And part of that practice was him saying the most affirming phrase ever, which is, I am the greatest. And so this guy, you know, we thought he was, well, people thought what they thought, but he walked around saying, I'm the greatest, I'm the world's greatest, I'm the world's greatest. And that's something that's hard for me to say. Like, I teared up reading Rabbi saying thank you. I mean, you know, like, I've got some ways to go. But there is a difference, but there's power and a feeling behind saying I am a certain way. And, oh God, I hope I can be a certain way or a certain type of person. And so thank you for calling our attention to that. And I'd like to invite you all to play with that a little bit. Maybe that can be a little bit of a homework assignment this week, is to pay attention to when you say I am, and pay attention to how you feel by the time you finish the sentence.
Okay.
What are your I ams? And how do they make you feel generally?
Okay.
Toni, when I was doing this, I started out by writing, I want to feel secure. And then as I started writing down all the things to get there, I ended up going back to the beginning and crossing out feel and writing, I want to be secure.
Ooh. And so you had an intuitive draw to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. How can you talk about what felt different as you did it, or?
Well, as I got deeper into what I needed to do, it ended up being that, you know, being in the now, not being afraid of the future, not projecting from the past. And it brought me into right now. I need to be grounded in the present. And that's when I went back up and crossed out feel and changed it to be.
Thank you.
Another idea might be, I am in the process of.
Everybody like that one?
Yes.
Can you say more, Bob? Why in process, and why not already there?
Well, if I say I want to, it means to me that it's something that is not happening now. If I say I should, it means that it's coming from the outside of me, that I should be doing something. But if I say that I'm in the process of doing something, that means that I'm taking the steps to accomplish the end objective.
Bob, when you say the word should, when you said that word, I should, it immediately gave me a feeling of I'm bad. So
right. And part of that comes from, I don't know how long ago, but that it is a concept that we all have parent, child, and adult identities within ourselves. And that if we are speaking in parental messages, it comes from the I should. Okay, I should be doing this. It's not that I'm doing it or that I think it's a good idea, but I should be doing this. And it's not, doesn't put it into a sense of that it's going to happen. But if I say I will do this, then I know that I've made a decision that I'm going to do it. And then comes from that is I'm in the process of achieving this.
And that, I think when I hear you talk about the process part, to me, what the feeling is something of like, that's where I can give myself some grace. Mm-hmm. Because of course there will be times, like we know that with practice, it means that it's not perfected. And so for the times when we don't quite get there, the process is the way of softening any kind of ego attempt to make us feel bad about it. So thank you, Bob, for saying that.
Yeah, can I say something?
Please, you're free.
I wrote down that I would like not to procrastinate, especially when I've got a deadline. And then I started to think that I've got, this is very pertinent because I'm procrastinating now. I should actually be doing something else at this moment.
Sorry. No, please keep going.
I would like to propose that perhaps rather than seeing yourself as procrastinating now, that you're actually doing something now, and that you will be doing that when you decide you're going to do it.
Well, it's interesting you should say that, because when I started to write it and started to think, I said, but this is a specific task of writing that has to be done by tomorrow. And but then I've known about it for a fortnight. But then I thought, well, in actual fact, I might not have done any writing, but I have done a lot of background planning. Usually, I must admit, at 2 or 3 in the morning when I wake up. And I've also done a lot of background reading. And I'm wondering if I'm the kind of person that has to have a deadline.
Well, I guess that what I would ask in that regard is, what happens if you don't accomplish it by tomorrow?
It will be accomplished by tomorrow.
So then, and my question is then, are you actually procrastinating, or does your creative process just need something different than you expect it to need?
Well, there's a lot of guilt in it, because I think I'll write today. This morning I woke up and I thought, right, today I'm just writing. So I spent about an hour playing on my iPad. And then I went shopping, which I didn't need to do. And then I made a couple of telephone calls, which I didn't need to do.
That's me.
I think that you are ruminating rather than procrastinating.
All the grace, Alma. Are you drinking up all of this grace that these folks are giving you? Your cup ready to receive.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm sure I'm not on my own. But then on the opposite end, tomorrow, when it is finished, I will feel really good because it's finished.
And so, thank you, Alma. I want to. So we're at 11:47. Well, I'm on the East Coast, so we're at 47 to the hour, whatever, wherever you are. I wonder if you all want to practice meditation together and to keep with the rhythm. That's what I had planned to do, was for us to spend 5 minutes working on this. If you want to just breathe and meditate for the 5 minutes, as Rabbi suggests, that's fine. If you want to try your hand at visualizing during the 5-minute meditation, based on whatever you just wrote, that this could be a time to practice that as well. So I'm gonna throw 5 minutes up on the clock, and invite you to, if you need to go get a mirror because visualization is difficult for you, I would invite you to leave, go get a mirror, stare at yourself in the mirror, and let your imagination go from there. And just try. We'll try our hand at visualizing. What are questions I can answer? I'm going to invite you to mute yourselves so that the meditation bell can be the thing that draws us back. And I'm also going to invite you to slowly come back when you hear the bell. There's no rush. It's not like an alarm clock where you're late, right? We're taking a time to relax our bodies, to soften our jaws, to release our hip muscles, to let our minds find us in that moment that we just wrote about. And we're going to come back gently because that's what we deserve. And I'm going to start us now. We had 2 bells that time. Welcome back. Okay. We're going to share another big breath together if you're up for it. And truly, I'm a little more woo-woo than Rabbi Brian is, if you haven't been able to tell already, but it's who I am. So, which is just to say, I think there's a lot of power in us having a concentrated mass of people focusing on something like this for the benefit of ourselves, for the benefit of people who we are in community with, for this particular group of people. So thank you for lending your attention to all of us and to yourselves. I want to read Rabbi's announcements very quickly since we're close to the edge. So just a reminder that the same link that brought you here to today's Saturday service can be used to join Rabbi in a smaller, less structured setting on Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you don't already get the 77% weekly newsletter, you can sign up for it for free at rotb.org. Join Rabbi Brian every day on his Facebook page for live meditation, hashtag JFST. All are welcome, and maybe someone in the group can attest to it. After the service today, you're all welcome to hang around for virtual donuts. Again, guilt-free pastries. We tried an experiment with set clubhouses that didn't work so well, so hang around and see what happens today. Note to the regulars from Rabbi. He says, quote, I know you all are excited to catch up, but please interact with the newcomers, end quote. Stuff, ROTB merchandise helps Rabbi Brian run Religion Outside the Box. Pay attention to the capitalized R and B. Oh, I'm going to send you this link. Just kidding. Sorry. I did read these before, but you would never know that by how it's going so far. Okay, there's the link to his Etsy. You can buy things like the DIY kosher kit and the pandemic coloring book on the link I just sent in the chat. Donations are welcome. Thank you to those who already give. This ministry, listen to me. See, it goes deep. I'm sorry, y'all. The Christian in me is still alive. Donations are welcome. Religion Outside the Box is able to offer so many creative programs because people like you sponsor these programs. If you aren't a monthly donor, please consider giving at this coming link. It's the same one, rotb.org/support. Oh, thank you, Alex. Dang, Alex, you're so good. Thank you. Those are all of the announcements. A couple minutes left. I'm not sure how, Alex, are you running the virtual donuts? Okay, beautiful. So if you do have the time to hang around, Alex is going to sort things out. Thank you for doing that. Just a reminder, if you feel like having some homework this week, pay attention to your I ams and the way you feel. And if you have a little notepad that you can carry around, maybe even write down as many I ams as you hear coming out of your mouth. And then at the end of the week or end of the day, whatever, you could see what you are and what you want to be. What questions do you have? Okay. Anything else that's pressing that needs to be shared? I know that
I got a question.
Please.
This is for you, Toni Anne, and it's just a personal question. I heard you mention seminary a few times. Are you currently in seminary, or are you out, or what?
No, sir. I finished seminary. I finished my Master's of Divinity in 2014, and then I got another Master's in Social Ethics that I finished in 2016. So I've been done with the formal education and trying to figure out how to make sense of a very expensive Master's.
Well, thank you for participating with us here. It's been very beneficial.
Oh, I'm so glad. It's really my happiness to be with you all, and I'm excited to see you all next week and hear what you've become. So take good care of yourselves. Drink lots of water this week. Emotions are all over the place. Water is your friend.
Water's your friend.
Yes. Take good care, and we will see you all next time. I'm gonna sign off.
Thanks, Toni.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Thank you, Toni.
Welcome.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you, Toni.